They have one extra base hit. That was the Chisholm home run in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Sure.
That went to the second deck. I think the first inning of each game was very telling and concerning. In game one, they had runners on second and third and nobody out, and they didn't score. In game two, they had runners on first and second, nobody out, and they didn't score. So they have not gotten the big base hit. And, they keep saying, well, we hit into hard luck. It's part of baseball, man. Yeah. There's no hard luck if you hit the ball over the wall. And the Yankees led the major leagues in home runs. And I know that there are not going to be as many home runs in the postseason as there are per game in the regular season, but there are statistics to prove that the teams that win score the majority of their runs via the home run. And the teams that homer more win the vast majority of the games in the playoffs. The way you win in the regular season is the same way you win in the postseason. And the Yankees have been shut down with their big bats. Aaron Judge has reached base 3 times in 2 games, which is not terrible. But in order for the Yankees to win, he has to slug.
Yeah.
Soto has to slug, and Stanton has to slug. And if they don't, it's not going to be an easy series to win. Because fundamentally, they're not the most fundamentally clean team. They don't run the bases that well. Defensively, sometimes they do things that make you scratch your head. So they have to play an ultra-clean game in order to win. Game 1, they got the breaks, and they won despite getting the big hit. Game 2, they didn't get the breaks, and they scored 2 runs. Now, you've got yourself a series, and tomorrow, you've got Clark Schmidt going, and a lot of people had some doubts, why Schmidt, not Heel. You got Clark Schmidt going against Seth Lugo. And Don, Seth Lugo was money when he pitched against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium in September. That's going to be a tough game tomorrow night.
No, it's going to be a very tough game, as is the pitching in the postseason. These teams deserve to be here because they probably have good starting pitching and good bullpens. But, Michael, you can't have 6 singles going into the 9th inning and expect to be able to win. Nope. Now, if you get a doubles and triples, see, the Mets the other night in Milwaukee won that game 1 without hitting a home run, but they had a double. They had the bases clearing triple from Winker. So if you don't have any runners in scoring position, you're not going to be able to get it done. They caught the break on the steal in game 1, so Chisholm was in scoring position for Verdugo to get the hit. But you're not going to string 4 or 5 hits together to get a couple of runs. That's a tough rally in this day and age. So if Stan's going to go 1 for 4 with a single, Judge is going to go 1 for 3 with a single, Soto's going to go 0 for 3, you're probably not going to score too many runs. And this is a team with what they have at their disposal. You're not going to win too many games 2-1 because the other team's going to have their chance too. So that was a tough offensive performance. Only 1 game, but you did hand over home field. That should be a crazy building in Kansas City tomorrow. You got yourself a series, man. Now, Jazz Chisholm hits the home run, and he's a very engaging interview. And the reason he's engaging is anything could spill out of his mouth. Oh, I love that.
Now, he doesn't have that editing valve that a lot of the players do. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you see some of the you know what works hardest on the Yes Network? Meredith Marakovich trying to get anything out of these guys when she interviews them. Because they're all like Nuke LaLoosh. Process, we'll hit the ball well. But Jazz Chisholm's not like that, and this is what he said.
Still feels the same that we're going to win it, I don't feel like anybody feels any different, We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky. Now, people are going crazy over that comment. Now, I think there's a possibility that if Matt Quattraro is smart, that's on the bulletin board tomorrow. We were lucky. Now, you could also say the Yankees were lucky they're not down 0-2. And then that comment was met with such outcry that Aaron Boone walked it back today. He didn't really mean it that way. The question, when he gets taught, well, he did mean it. He said lucky. Now, I think what he meant was the Yankees were unlucky because they had a lot of hard-hit balls that didn't fall in. Right. So you gave the Royals a little bulletin board fodder. Let's see what the Royals did. Now, I have more of a problem with you losing 4-1 in the bottom of the 9th inning. You hit a home run. And then you go through that little dance in the Euro step at home plate. I'm of the belief when you're trailing, no matter when you're trailing, and you hit a home run, you don't do your whole dance. You don't do your whole act. But again, it's not something that drives me nuts.
Well, if it's earlier in the game, I'd feel a little different.
Oh, that's true. And also 4-2, it's still a close game. One more guy gets on, and you've got the tying run coming to the plate. So maybe that's what he's thinking.
But it felt more desperate. At that time, it's more desperate.
But nothing that he did drives me nuts. Nothing. Here's the problem with yesterday. The first 3 innings of the game, Carlos Rodon had no-hit stuff. First inning was about as good as he looked as a Yankee, throwing 98, 99 miles an hour, painting the corner, hitting all 4 quadrants. But then the one thing that worries me about Rodon every now and then is when something goes wrong, it spins out of control. So he hangs a slider to Salvador Perez, hits it out, and then the rest of the inning just unraveled, and there's the ball game. That was the ball game right there. Now, remember, Yankee fans, that if the Yankees play Game 5, your starter is, in fact, going to be Carlos Rodon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not the way you want it yesterday to turn out.
No.
But, I said the Yankees should win the series. They should go to the World Series. But the Royals by no means are a pushover. Their bullpen's been great. The Yankee bullpen has been unhittable. But the starters have put them in a little bit of a hole.
Now, I don't know if you saw that Chisholm tweeted this out earlier today. If you don't believe you're going to win it, you won't. So you better speak this blank into existence and believe. Hashtag LFG.
And you know what? I buy that. But you can't say the other team was lucky. What he said before lucky was fine. If you don't believe in you, that's fine. But you can't say the other team's lucky because you handed them something.
But I do like the fact that at least it's not like corporate gives a little passion. But you got to win
he's definitely
games.
Not that.
But you didn't get Cole wasn't great. Rodon wasn't great. So you want to get better out of the pitching. Bullpen though was very good.
Terrific.
And that's what you're going to need. But the problem that has existed with this team for a decade has been what happens to the offense during the course of the postseason. It's not really about the pitching. It's about, and 4 runs should not be enough to curse the Yankees. They have enough potential there offensively to have more than 1 run through 8 innings and then a home run in a 4-1 game in the 9th inning. And they've got to produce better offensively. They were able to do it in Game 1. It bailed them out, but certainly didn't last night. And now we'll see what happens on the road.
Now, the big elephant in the room is Aaron Judge. Mm-hmm. I think he looks off balance at the plate. I think he's a little anxious. I think he's got happy feet. And when he swings and misses, he's like stumbling over home plate. Like all of his when he's right, he's so balanced. He swings, either he hits the ball, and if he misses it, he stays anchored in the right-handed batter's box. I've seen him tumble over into the left-handed batter's box. A little odd, and I think the Royals have pitched him very well. And even Judge admitted it yesterday. In Game 1, they went after him with fastballs. Yesterday, they went after him with changeup. So they've got his mind spinning a little bit, and the Royals are doing everything that I didn't think that any team should do, Don. They're going right at him. They're going right at Soto. They're not pitching around anybody. And they're saying, here, we think we could get you out. So far, they've done it. In order for the Yankees to get to the World Series, Aaron Judge has to slow. He does.
He does.
And I think he knows it.
And Soto, too. And Stanton, and there was the excuse when Stanton was out, hey, I don't have to pitch to those 2 guys. But they are being pitched to. Stanton is in the lineup, and he didn't really produce anything. This team is a power club. Rely on home runs. Let's see if they can do it.
I'm going to say something as damning as humanly possible, unfortunately, about Aaron Judge. Mm-hmm. He reminded me of me in his first at-bat.
That's not good.
Well, he's one of the great players of all time, and I could barely make a varsity baseball team. So you don't want to hear the comp, but let me tell you why, Don. Because the reason I stunk at baseball, is that when I was nervous, I swung at everything. And Judge took a ball on the first pitch of his first at bat yesterday, and then swung at 3 straight pitches. Mm-hmm. He just seems absolutely desperate. And Michael, how often? It's not often that a player, when they're in their sweet spot, they're swinging and missing at 3 straight pitches. There's something that is uncomfortable.
Well, the longer he goes without hitting a home run, he's going to put more pressure on himself.
And then he's going to be jumpier and swinging it more.
Then it becomes a legitimate slump.
And not because of the Yankee history. I just think he wants to win. I mean, I get the impression this is a guy that will trade all of his numbers for a championship.
I agree. And not only that, though, Don, I do think there's a personal part of he hears the little conversation. Because, come on. He's a smart guy. He knows he's been dominant in the regular season. He knows he hasn't had a great playoff.
Right, and nobody's saying anything about Bobby Witt Jr., who's 0 for 9.
Right, because it's not a thing. It's not a storyline. It's his first time.
And also he hit against the Orioles in the first series. Aaron, although he has 13 home runs in 46 games in his playoff career, he has not hit for average, and he's a great player who hits for average and hits for home runs. So he's got to get right. The Yankees are not making the World Series unless he gets right. Doesn't have to carry the team. They all have to hit.
Isn't this where Boone has to earn his money, though? Getting your guy calm. No, well, you can't do that. But you can get your guy to calm down and work with him and try to get him into place.
But what can you say? He's Aaron Judge.
He's one of the greatest
New York
players of all
Yankees.
time.
I mean, the pressure is just like, how do you talk to him? I mean, Judge is putting the pressure on himself. As you said, this is a guy that is produced in the regular season historically, but knows it doesn't mean as much if he doesn't do it in the postseason. Matter of fact, just adds more pressure because of who he is. So I don't think it's the media. I don't think it's the fans. I think it's just himself knowing that he wants to win that ring so badly, and he's just putting an immense amount of pressure on himself. How do you tell him not to? Because there of course there's pressure. It's the New York Yankees. You're expected to win.
And the path is wide open for you right now. I mean, Michael, if they lose to the Royals,
there'll be issues.
Jobs are going to be on the line.
Oh, absolutely. You can't lose to the Royals.
Right.
I am not dissing the Royals.
No.
But you're better than the Royals.
Well, but it's a wild card team that surprised making the playoffs. Now, if you lose in the league championship series to the Guardians, it's not going to look good, and the fans are all going to demand changes to be made. But I guess you can wrap your mind around the fact the Guardians were good all year. They won their division. You know, they were battling you for the best record in the American League. You lose to a 6-7 game series. I guess you can live with it. But in the wild card round, Peter, against the Royals, isn't the George Brett, Dan Quisenberry Royals? No, this isn't even the Royals of 2015.
I will tell you the one thing about George Brett. I don't know how much of the game you guys watched. TBS showed George Brett more than the Royals would show George Brett on the Royals television broadcast.
It is crazy.
I mean, when you see stuff like that, you definitely understand why Yankee fans would get upset. I mean, it was like the George Brett inning.
But you know why they do that? Because who are you going to show on the Royals? No. I know Witt Jr. is a candidate for the MVP, but the nation watching this, they know that it's mostly Yankees. The Royals don't have a huge fan base. They don't have a lot of superstar players outside of Witt, and that's still new. I'm sorry, Michael. A lot of people watching that game, George Brett's more recognizable than any Royal.
By the way, this is crazy, Michael. I believe there's so much pressure on the Yankees that if they don't beat the Royals, Robert Saleh will get fired.
Again.
Yeah.
Let's go to Henry in Colorado. Henry.
What's up, Michael? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Why not?
I've been a Yankee fan since 2005.
Okay.
And I'm going to call for it. I think it's time we ship Aaron Judge out of New York City. We sign Soto with the freed up space, and we start building again. We can't go through it again with this guy, man.
So let's talk this way. Henry, you realize, I know this is going to be shocking, Aaron Judge is a better player than Juan Soto. In every which way. The only way Juan Soto's better, he's 7 years younger. Aaron Judge is a better player. He's a better defender. He's a better home run hitter. He hits for a higher average, and he's a better defender and a better base runner.
What's he done in the postseason?
But what's he done during the season to get them there? Do they win the American League East without him hitting 58 home runs?
I think they do it.
All right, goodbye, Henry. Colorado.
This is an impossible town. I mean, I refuse to believe this is the majority of Yankee fans.
Well, he was in Colorado, so.
But he's a Yankee fan,
right?
But. And believe me, there's a lot of people that call this show and listen to the show that agree with his opinion. All right, let's not make it out to be that this is just a rogue caller. There's a lot of people that feel this way because that's the standard the Yankees have set. But ship Aaron Rodgers out. Aaron Judge out.
Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of Aarons.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, I can understand that.
But you're going to ship it.
No, the guy's brain is it.
Because as Don said, there's no indication that that's the majority of the people. But even if it's one person, it's 2 games where he hasn't hit. I mean, come on, relax, everybody. If they get knocked out by the Royals, and you know what, he's had an awful series, and that's on top of all the other bad series he's had, we can have a discussion, but we should never have a discussion about trading him.
No, we're not.
And you don't have to trade him to make room for Soto. They have enough money to have both.
I'm not telling you to be happy about it. I'm not telling you it's not something to be concerned about, but actually, making it seem like he's got a great idea. Let's just ship Judge out of here. How are you replacing, like, literally 58 home runs and 140 RBIs? How are you doing that?
Maybe he's just a troll. But, I mean, it's embarrassing.
It's time to ship him out of here.
Let's go to Steve in the car. Steve.
Hey, Steve. Hi, guys. How are you? I was thinking when I was listening to Bob Costas last night, I'm sure a lot of Yankee fans agree with me that I had to put the game on mute. It was horrible. Michael, we take it for granted how amazing you are throughout the year. And yes,
so amazing.
And Yeah, you're awesome. And then when he hit, it's cringeworthy. So I just wanted to give you a shout out.
You about
What do you want Michael to say to that, by the way?
And also, first of all, thank you for the kind words about me. Bob Costas is one of the greatest broadcasters who's ever lived.
What is it? What's the problem?
What's the problem with him?
Don, it's dry. It's like very like, and here's the pitch.
Yeah, but one thing, Steve, you're used to the home broadcaster. Me screaming, "See ya, there it goes." I mean, that's not Bob. It's not Bob Costas.
But I don't have a problem with Steve. I mean, there's a way Bob does the games that maybe Steve doesn't like. I wanted to see if he was saying that he didn't like it because he was like pro Royals. This is a guy that gave the eulogy for Mickey Mantle, so nobody should ever think that Bob Costas doesn't, be neutral and if anything favor the Yankees. But no, I think that's fair. I think he's got a style that maybe a lot of, especially younger audience, maybe can't really get. I'm not mad at Steve for that opinion.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for the kind words, but there'll be no Costas hate from me. Sorry. It just won't be. Again, one of the greatest broadcasters who ever lived.
But again, Michael, I think it's a fair analysis to say that maybe somebody doesn't like Bob's style. I grew up with it. I mean, I love when Bob Costas calls a game. It takes me back to all those days back when the game of the week, and I think Bob's tremendous. I think he's a great guest. I got no problem with Bob Costas, but don't you think there's probably an audience that's like, they're not used to this? Bob does a game. He's a little bit old school. And I can understand a younger audience that's a little bit used to a different type of announcer be like, this isn't my cup of tea. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, if you look at the announcers that are making it big now, right? The ones that are constantly played on social media, they're the screamers. They're the ones that get excited about it. I'm not saying they're bad broadcasters, but that's like when we talk about Red Barber and we talk about Mel Allen, I don't think they'd be in the business now. With their skill set the way it was, it's a different world.
I
think Vince Scully is the last of those types of guys. And he was amazing because he translated into the 21st century.
No, I think Bob tells stories and he's a little bit old school. But Joe Davis isn't a screamer.
No, but he gets excited.
No, he gets excited. But I think he's also somebody that I wouldn't say monotone, but I think he has a different kind of way of doing things. I mean, it's all going to be just about preference. Bob Costas does an excellent job. But, Michael, not everybody is going to love different style announcer. I'll be honest with you. The guy's in the Hall of Fame. He's no longer with us. I was never a big fan of Dick Enberg. He wasn't my type. I thought he was kind of corny. Does that make me a bad guy? I mean, the guy's in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the great announcers of all time. Wasn't my cup of tea.
It does make you bad guy.
It wasn't. No, yeah. Enberg felt like just at the time NBC, and I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, but it was a big game. His voice was a big game.
You want to know
him and Merlin Olsen? I picture Raiders, Broncos, 4 o'clock on a Sunday, but it wasn't my cup of tea.
Stupid baseball field in the middle. It annoyed me. Now, I'll tell you what I'm ready for. Is hearing Hello Friends this Sunday for, I'll be at the game, so I won't hear it. But did you guys see the line yet for Baltimore, Washington?
No.
Any thoughts?
I would say it's in Baltimore. I would
4.5.
say Ravens 3.5.
6.5.
What? The disrespect.
No, it's continue.
Why don't you jump on 3 points right now?
Right now, it's tempting to throw 3 points right at the Commanders.
Because they're spitting on you.
No, they're just right in your face. 6.5. Now, listen, the Ravens are good. I don't expect Washington to win. But they're not going to play within a touchdown?
We'll see. You'll be there. Why don't you tag? You know what? I really feel sorry for Peter. He does a lot of texting on the group text, and no one replies.
I do it during all kinds of games and events.
Listen, I got to be honest with you. Sundays with the kid, there's a lot going on in my life.
I was on a plane with TV and internet, so I was just sitting there watching the game, texting away. No one's replying.
It's sad. I felt sorry for you. I almost replied, but said, nah. Let's go to Cody in San Diego. Cody.
I believe it's pronounced Kodai. Go ahead.
Hello, Cody.